My Asian American identity informs pretty much everything I do, but it really informs my art. It really informs my writing. All of my fiction stems from my real life. I write almost exclusively Asian American characters and women because it's my experience. I'm a self-described literary arts superfan. My first interaction with literary arts was in 2015. My first novel, Diamond Head, had just come out, and I was living in New York at the time, and they invited me out to be a part of the festival. And I'm from Oregon. I grew up in Eugene, but I'd never been to the Portland Book Festival, and it was fairly new. I also remember that day was super rainy, and it was like a classic Oregon gray, wet day. And I was thinking no one was gonna come, or there was gonna be really low attendance. And I remember there being huge lines of people outside in the rain, holding umbrellas, wearing raincoats, 100 people in line waiting to get in for these panels. And it kind of blew me away that all these people were here waiting to hear people talk about books. As a writer, so much of your time is spent waiting in the dark, feeling around. You don't always know if you're going the right way. And I feel like literary arts offers all these signposts for you to hold on to. You know, they have these huge events every year that feel important, the book festival, and then they have these small things that happen all through the year. There's always a way to get involved and to feel kind of like the beating heart of the literary scene in this community. And it's a beautiful thing. When I moved back to Oregon in 2020, I got set up on a friend date with Amanda Bullock. I just had a baby and I was new to the city, and I was trying to get more involved with the literary community. And one of the things she told me about was Writers in the Schools, which is this program that pairs writers with Portland public schools. The writers essentially go in as teaching artists into classrooms that are not typically writing, so film, math, and you do a residency there. And the idea is you're trying to inspire young people to do creative writing and to find appreciation for it and to see it for its real world implications, that people are actually doing this for a living. It was kind of a perfect lift for me, with it still being kind of COVID-y and also having a baby at home, where I could get involved in a way that felt manageable. Coming from New York, I was nervous about starting over in a new community. I'd spent 14 years in New York kind of building my life around books, around this literary community, and I was leaving it behind. And literary arts has been just this wonderful hug of a community. It's really doing amazing, inspiring work. Every year that I've lived in Oregon, I've applied for the Literary Fellowship. I was rejected twice, and then I got it this year. So it felt like it was filling my tank with gas so that I could just keep going for a bit longer in the dark. It was this piece of energy, this piece of encouragement. But I think the other really special thing about literary arts is that the fellowship also, it opens the door to community. All these programs open the door to community. It's financial, but then they also put on a reception for all the fellows to meet each other. And then they hosted a reading so that we could all listen to each other's work. There's a fellowship happy hour. We're all on an email chain together. You know, it opened a door into all of us meeting each other. It's about finding people who understand you, finding people who think that your work is worthy and important. I always joke that my beat is dysfunctional Asian American family stories. I've written 2 of those, very different, one kind of sprawling and historical and one kind of intimate and contemporary. It's helped me to grapple with growing up Asian American in Oregon, in a predominantly white community, and figuring out who I am and the places that I'm attached to, the stories that I'm attached to, the traditions. And hopefully it does the same for my readers. Literary Arts is an organization that's looking out for the future of Portland and the future of reading and writing and artists in Portland. And it's pumping energy and funding and opportunities into this community. And it's also making reading and writing feel cool in a way that I think the larger world doesn't.